Okay guys, we have Blast here. He's going to be nice enough to let us shoot him in his E100. You'll notice we have heat rounds. You should be only shooting heat rounds in an E100. That's a given. That's how you kill other tanks. And what you want to do, his entire turret, except for this middle part, you are able to pin everything else on the front of his turret. All of it. Alright, don't shoot his front plate. Don't worry about shooting his bottom, because if you can see the flats of his turret or his triangle, that's what you want to shoot. Now you see this line right here on an E100. That's his turret ring, and it's always exposed. That's a good thing to shoot for if you're in a medium tank and you have no other choice. So anyway. So you can see right there, shot, pin, there's nothing to it. And you can see on my reticle right here, the left number is your average pin roll, so that's 334 on these heat rounds. The right number is the armor without any angling or anything taken into it. So you can see just the average roll. We're easily able to hit him.
That knocked out my periscope as well.
Yeah, and you can see him say right there, we didn't, we just knocked out his periscope. So the entire light bar is a soft spot. So you can see you're always going to bounce your upper plate. That's not a big deal. On the sides, it gets a little trickier. Always, the turret is always the weak spot on the sides. You can see, if you look on his tank right here though, this entire side skirt here is spaced armor. Don't shoot that with a heat round. You're not going to pin it. It's pretty. You can do it, but you got to have a good roll. Same for the tracks. Your best bet's always on the turret. Always on the turret. The right here is this. I'm gonna shoot him in the fuel tank. Let's see what happens. I pinned it right at the very top of the belt, but you don't want to shoot low on the belt. The back is. You should realize the little dot is a soft spot. But anyway. Okay, so back on Himmelsdorf, Blast and I are going to show y'all how to fight another E100. We're going to be side scraping, and what side scraping is, you're using this part of your armor. You're using all your side armor. Is basically you're making it impenetrable. You're making it so that you ricochet a lot. You have to set a very steep angle. And once you do that, it becomes, you're either going to ricochet or your tracks are going to soak it, or your spaced armor is. So not only do you do this with your hull, you do this with your turret also. You can see how Blast has his turret out and he's pointing at me. You see we're pointing at each other. Well, we were. Yeah, there you go. We're side scraped, but both of our turrets were really exposed. Because, it's a flat shot, and we've already shown you shoot an E100 in the flat spot, you're going to pin it. So we're both really going to be working hard to minimize the angles by, hiding our turrets. One thing you want to be careful with, so on the side of your turret, the back third of your turret on almost every turret is an ammo rack, and that's true on this tank also. And even having it at a steep angle like I have right now, Blast can actually wing me in the side of it, and with a good roll he'll pin it and he'll ammo rack me. So you have to be conscious of a lot of things when you're doing this, but there's no other way to fight this, so go for it. Why don't you just scrape in and then we'll fight it out. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Go. You can see Blast dancing on me. Right there I got the first shot in and he returned it, so right now I'm in a little bit better position because I was a little quicker on the shot. We got the same reload, same gun. He might be a little faster with crew skills, I don't know. I don't have brothers in arms, I just have repairs, so we'll see. Right now. Blast made a mistake right there. Stop right there. Yeah, just right where you're at. This is the mistake Blast made. When he pulled in, Blast didn't consider we've got pretty much the same reload. So look at my positioning. Or look, let me see if I can. Okay, there we go. I have my gun out ready to fire. Blast does it. I'm going to get first shot, and I've got a good chance of getting that shot off and getting my turret turned back in cover. That puts me up a shot. Right now we're even. Play it. Go. Go, Blast. Go, Blast.
Shoot it. Shoot it. Shoot it.
Oh, no, I mean, you can keep playing. I wanted to point out, I got an aggressive line of fire. Oh, good hit. Now I'm down one.
Yeah, you definitely got to keep one up on the tank.
Yeah, see, now I can't be as aggressive, but I got to make something happen here, so. I'm going to try something. Swing for the fences. Nope.
Now
I was trying. Yeah, he was already one up, but I threw one in his turret ring and missed it, so. And you see people backing up like this all the time, in and out of cover. This is how side scraping works, but this is basically how you're telling the other player, hey, I think you're a fucking noob and you're gonna shoot early. So, you're sucking. Yeah, you're sucking another player into a shot, but that's really not gonna work with me on Blast, so. It's going to come down to a lot of positioning here. Very good shot. Let's see where he got me. Yep, right there.
And you're boned. This is when you finish it.
Yeah, I'll stop right there. Alright, so how do you counter side scraping is one thing he just did. He moved in because he had a big advantage on the hit point pool, but well, I'll go ahead and do it to him since he came to this corner and he's side scraping. What side scraping is weak against is very close range pushes. So to break a side scrape, when people are side scraped, you want to drive beside them. If you're the first tank there, you want to drive in. You want to get that tank turned. You want to get everybody else behind them blocked so their team can't really keep shooting. That's a big thing to it. Just you got to get the tank turned. You got to push in close. That's how you get rid of side scraping. So you can go ahead. You just played out the kill because you definitely beat me. Good shit, play. Oh fucker. Oh, low roll. Wow. Where'd I hit you? Oh yeah, I clipped it. Hold on, right there. That's a good thing to point out. Stop. 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 So, do you see where I hit him right here? Alright, my shot, I felt like it was a good shot on the corner of his mantlet. Okay, Blast, I'm drawing and you're moving. What's the problem with that? But I thought my shot was good. I felt like I aimed right there. Maybe I didn't. But you'll notice I actually hit him in the mantlet, and that's, you don't want to hit another E100 in a mantlet.
Don't ever shoot him on the lower. I always aim for the turret. It's guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah, shooting, we've done that. But yeah, you don't ever shoot another E100 in the upper plate. You can pin, here's the problem with the lower plate. Turn your front to me, Blast. That's good enough. Right there, stop. Okay, so right here, look at his lower plate. Don't move. Look at his lower plate. Alright. Look how steep that angle is because this E100 is such a tall tank. Let me see if I can back up to where I can even hit it. Look how steep that angle is right there. Can you see that? Yeah. So it's not just, even if he was square to me, point blank range like this, you're gonna bounce it. I mean, you can't pin it. Watch. Well, okay, you can with a high roll, but it's not where you want to hit. You want to hit the turret. There's always exceptions, but you don't want to hit those steep angles. Alright, well, you won. Ha! Oh, we gotta fight now.
It's your video, you gotta win, dude.
No, dude, no. I don't mind it, dude, I don't mind it.
Oh, this is another thing with the E100, right here. If you're in a battle with another E100, going back and forth like this is key.
Yeah, you gotta get the bounce. See, he let me back in the game now. Oh, I just lost it. Ah, nice. See, I got first shot here, so. Oh, really? Did we both hit mantlets?
You did damage my gun.
I think we both hit mantlets. So this should be it. Yep, you had the first shot off. Anyway. Good deal, you definitely won. But, yeah, that's... You gotta side scrape, you gotta work to get bounces. You can see, you know, I bounced a couple times on blast. He got a couple off... I got a bounce off him, I think, but... Anywho, you know, that's how you have to get... You have to really work an E100 to get anything out of it, but... Let's see, what did Blast pick up? 6 bounces, and I know what I'm doing, so... That's good. You really gotta work that tank.
It's a great tank if you work it right.
Amen to that. Okay guys, we got the E100 here. Seems like we have a lot of trouble with this tank. But I'm going to show you sort of the gist of it, how to pin it, what the armor layout is here. So let's bring up the collision model. Okay, so here's the actual armor model of the tank. This is what the game engine sees with the tank. It doesn't see all the fluffy shit. Let me bring the armor chart in. Okay. So right off the bat, we got the armor chart. 250 armor on the turret. Seems like a lot, but look, guys, this is a tier 10 battle. That's not even a lot if you're shooting regular AP rounds out of most of the tier 10 guns. So there is not a single tier 10 gun in the game that will not chew an E100 up from the front. And the reason is the turret. The turret is weak. Alright, we all should know the lower Gladius is weak, but the turret on this is actually very weak, and especially the other E100s. The E100 gold rounds are 334 pin heat rounds. Heat doesn't do well at extreme angles or space armor, but you can see that's a shallow angle. As far as spaced armor goes, do not ever shoot anywhere near the gun mantlet. Alright, this is not where we're shooting. You want to shoot anywhere in the flat. You can even shoot light bar on top. The triangle is spaced armor. You can shoot through it and pin. You can bust a periscope. So I mean that is an option. You don't want to hit that with a heat round. Alright, it'll soak a heat round. But you can get through it with ACPR, AP, ACPR. You can't get through it with... It's not going to happen with a heat round or HE. So if you're going to shoot triangle, like if an E100's hull down, it's an easy shot, but you know that's for the ACPR shooters. So alright, so one thing you have to be careful with on the front is if you have a tall tank like another E100, you have to be careful shooting the lower plate point blank, because you can easily, if you're pretty close, you know that's a pretty steep angle, especially if you're above the tank. So you don't want to shoot that. You just concentrate on the turret as much as you can. Now if one's coming around the corner or somebody's angled out of a corner, yeah, that's an easy shot, but at point blank range you're better off for the turret. If we zoom in, you can see our turret ring. The entire thing is exposed all the way around the tank. That's good to know. You do not ever want to shoot an E100 right here. You do not want to shoot right above the tracks. That's actually not part of the tank. If you look, that's just spaced armor hanging out. There's no tank there for you to hit. Even shooting in at a slight angle, that's a bad spot to hit. You're still trying to shoot through spaced armor and maybe the tracks, which acts as spaced armor, to get behind it. So moving on. You have to be careful. Okay, let's get rid of the tracks. So here's our model. This entire section, this tank has side skirts. You see our side skirts, that helps protect against artillery a lot, splashes. But it allows an E100 to soak a lot of damage in the side, especially when side scraping between that and the tracks. So your vulnerable spots on this tank, side, obviously your turret, preference that, especially the rear third. That's where your ammo rack is. But you have to be very careful shooting the spaced armor because you're trying to shoot through the spaced armor and the track a lot of the times. And it's pretty healthy. So if you're shooting AP, ACPR at this tank, you can pin the entire side no problem, spaced armor or not. You're going to punch through it. So it's a good idea if you're a competent shot. That's also, if you're really confident in your shot, you can shoot high right here. This is where your fuel tank is on virtually every tank. At the very back third, it's high on the tank. So it's protected by space armor, but you can punch through it. Do not ever try and shoot this tank in the side high anywhere with a heat round or an HE round. It will soak tremendous amounts of damage. You'll be doing virtually nothing. I mean, you'll be even lucky to do anything. Okay, so you always want to, if you have in another E100, you want to hit the turret. Same thing side scraping. You know, when you get a side scrape going on, somebody maybe hangs out a little too steep of an angle. Against another E100, you can kind of get away with a little bit steep of an angle because you have so much spaced armor provided by the side skirt and the tracks. A downside is if your turret is not angled correctly, if it's too far out, because we have large 150 centimeter guns or 15 centimeter guns, 150 millimeter, we can roll high enough to actually punch this at a pretty high angle with our heat rounds. So that's something you have to be careful of. Like if you come out and you get an angle going on about this, you know, I could wing you back here and ammo rack you pretty easy. Obviously the escape hatch and the loader hatch, you know, exhaust hatch, whatever, that's a weak point in the back, so shoot that. If you're an E100 and people are behind you, or if you're circling an E100, you really need to be aware of this. Look at the back plate on this tank. Look how high this slope is. It's very, very steeply sloped, and a lot of the French tanks are also sloped like that. So if you have somebody behind you, one of the quickest ways to deal with it is to set a hard angle, a very hard angle. You know, that's not an insignificant amount of armor. I mean, it's 150 millimeters, so a good enough angle, you know, you can get some bounces in the ass. As people, as you fight, you really want to set a kind of a hard angle on your turret also. The reason is just to simply increase the front, and then with a fairly steep angle, most things will ricochet the turret. But so that's about it. The you know, you can pin high, AP, ACPR, always shoot the turret if at all possible. As you're circling this tank, you really need to time your shots so that you're broadside on the turret or the chassis, whatever you're shooting at. What you don't want to do is come into this tank and start trying to fire, especially with a bat chat or a medium when you're circling. Don't ever fire at this angle, especially if you're auto aiming and you can't control where you aim. You know, the aim goes to the center of the tank. You know, you don't want to fire early. You absolutely have to get these angles flat because you can easily bounce shells that you don't need to. So that's about it for this tank. You know, we have trouble with it, but you really want to concentrate. You know, cheeks, very easy shots to hit the cheeks, and even coming out of corners, you know, regular or side scraped at a high angle, you know, the first thing that comes out is the cheek. And one thing to note, so on this armor model, you can see the welded joint there. You know, it doesn't matter to the game that's, you know, a 12-foot long piece of steel sideways. You know, the game does say, hey, if you hit any of this anywhere on this, you know, it's a pin. So just make sure you know that. Protect your turrets as you're playing. Protect your turret as much as possible. You know, always carry an angle on it. Always turret to enemy lock your turrets. Very important to do. Other than that, that's, you know, pretty much the quick rundown on this tank. Just sort of what's weak against it, what's not. So